Thanks for staying with us. Now, to further deepen security ties between the two defense allies, the Philippines and the United States have signed a military intelligence sharing deal. Secretary of Defense Gilberto Teodoro and his visiting U.S. counterpart Lloyd Austin signed the agreement during a ceremony at the Department of National Defense in the Philippine capital, Manila. Government officials say the deal, called the General Security of Military Information Agreement, allows for the sharing of classified information that could benefit a U.S. ally's national defense and streamlines the sale of certain classified technologies. Mr. Lloyd Austin's visit is his first to the Southeast Asian country and likely his last before he relinquishes his post in January when President-elect Donald Trump returns to the White House. The U.S. President Joe Biden is urging leaders to work to protect the environment. He has just concluded a tour of the Amazon rainforest. President Biden's tour also marked the first of such trip by any sitting U.S. president in history, according to White House, calling it is a legacy of fighting climate change. He has also pledged new financial help to protect the Amazon, the planet's largest tropical rainforest, declaring every 17th of November International Conservation Day.
Today, I'm proud to be here, the first sitting U.S. president to visit the Amazon rainforest, to recommit to protecting the rainforest like this one. Most powerful solutions we have to fight climate change is all around us. The world's forests. Trees breathe carbon dioxide out of the atmosphere. And yet each minute, the world is chopping down the equivalent of 10 soccer fields worth of forest each minute. That's why we've been a leader internationally in the fight to end and reverse deforestation by 2030. That's why we've led by example at home, conserving an area of the U.S. lands and waters larger than the state of the nation of Uruguay.
Now, still on environmental matters, the people of Nigeria's Niger Delta region are calling for reparations for the losses they have had to count for decades through the activities of oil extraction companies in their territory. They made the demand at the ongoing COP29 summit in Azerbaijan for the restoration of their lives and livelihoods. We have a report.
The COP29 summit is more than just a global gathering. It's an opportunity to amplify some voices. Communities in Nigeria's oil-rich Niger Delta are demanding reparations for decades of oil extraction that has left their environment devastated.
What do we want? Reparations. What do we want? Reparations. When do we want it? Now. When do we want it? Now. When do we want it? Now. Do we want it tomorrow? No.
The Niger Delta, once known for its lush environment and rich biodiversity, now bears the scars of unchecked oil extraction. Activists argue that the ongoing pollution has destroyed their homes and forced many into poverty.
Our waters have been polluted. We no longer have clean water. We no longer have a good environment to plant. If you come to the Niger Delta, you can see that our land, you can no longer plant crops that produce. If you plant cassava, you bring out a very tiny thing. And this is as a result of an oil activity that's been going on over the years.
This is the 29th COP. Instead of the problems to reduce or solutions to be found, the problems keep increasing and there's no solution in sight. The solutions that the UN and the corporations are coming up with are measures that they will keep generating profit.
While much of the conversation at COP29 revolves around climate finance, African leaders are being urged to prioritize justice for impacted communities.
We are pushing that our politicians have to rise up to the fact that we are the global south, the Africa, and all the challenged and vulnerable nations are owed a climate debt for the years of exploitation, for the years of environmental degradation, and for the harm suffered by the environment and individuals and humans.
For the people of the Niger Delta, this summit represents hope, the hope that global leaders will listen and take concrete steps towards addressing the injustices they have endured. Esther Makwariola, TVC News, Azerbaijan.
For more on this summit and the demands of the Niger Deltans, environmentalist Umum Martins joins me now via Zoom from Baku, Azerbaijan. Good to have you join us.
Thank you very much. It's my pleasure to always be here with you.
So the thing with climate change is, what a lot of people will allude to is that those who are least responsible pay the most or bear the most burden of it. How is this conversation on reparations for Niger Deltans being received at COP29?
Well, it's a repeat of old stories and a repeat of old melodies. Unfortunately, COP29 has been reduced to a bucket list, like I always say, where agitation has been reduced to charity, and those who are responsible for the climate crisis that we find ourselves, unfortunately, despite contributing significantly, to global emissions, are still playing the games. And then the game is about corporate, capture. It's about corporate control. It's about the interest of a few at the expense of the masses. What we have seen so far here is, the commodification of carbon, what we call carbon finance, and not climate finance. And it's unfortunate that African leaders are buying the tricks at the expense of those in the frontline communities.
Interesting, because you have mentioned it in passing, but one of the biggest problems climate activists like yourself always say is the presence of lobbyists every time, for every COP, which is a conference of the parties. But this year, we understand that there are over 1,700 of them present in Baku. How is that impacting on this particular conversation, especially the advancement of the loss, the loss, I think it's the lost fund?
Loss and damage fund.
Loss and damage fund, yes.
We have 1,773 of them lobbyists, and about 480 are here for direct carbon market. So what this means is that there's going to be a further delay in the the way loss and damage fund is envisioned to be operationalized. We've always argued that United States should not be in control of this, and the global north are responsible for climate crisis in Africa. Are also the ones trying to be in control of the loss and damage fund. So we have seen a progressive delay, and this compensation there is going to affect that. People are not ready to make commitments yet. They are reducing agitation to charity, like I said earlier. But then it's largely connected to the presence of these lobbyists. They are here for business as usual. Why people in the frontline community, Niger Delta, in Niger community in Cabinet, in Tangata in Kenya, are struggling to survive. People here in briefcases and suits are smiling to the bank, striking deals at the end of the bank. It appears we are not serious here. Like I said, we are just here to, have a repeat of old melodies, which unfortunately is not just at a time like this.
The impact of oil extraction on Niger Deltans has been enormous over the years. The impact on lives, health, livelihoods, water, plants, it is taking a toll on everything. And the truth is, there has to be some form of climate justice. What can be done to advance this conversation and ensure that Niger Deltans get at least some form of justice?
At least to say, but that is not what we want. We want commensurate compensation. Compensation that would achieve two things. Force these guys to admit to historical liabilities and also commit them to make what we call immediate liquidity. When you go to the Niger Delta, like you rightly mentioned, what have we not seen? Economic losses, non-economic losses. People whose livelihood are now gone, who cannot even feed themselves, who cannot even provide potable water to their children. People whose life expectancy have been reduced to 49, and then women are going to early menopause. This is what we see in the Niger Delta because of the ceaseless and the endless release of carbon into the air that destroy the water body, causing flora and fauna depredation in that area. So what we want is not charity. We want immediate commitment, trackable commitment into NDCs that have been produced or provided by African countries to solve African climate crisis. And then this climate crisis should not be in form of carbon market. It should be in form of, for adaptation, for mitigation, and for self-determined solutions that have African faces. Like I did mention, we seem to have exhausted our coping capacities. Now we are not here to negotiate. We are here to enforce our rights and to demand that justice be done to those who are the victims of extractivism, as against those who are benefiting from extractivism.
We'll continue to see how this conversation is received, not just at COP29, but globally. Thank you so much for your time. Umum Martins, the an environmentalist who's speaking with us from Baku, Azerbaijan.
Umum Martins, work for Kappa.
Umum Martins, thank you so much. The Nigerian Chidimma Ado has been crowned Miss Universe Africa and Oceania in Mexico. Miss Ado, who is a law student and model born and raised in South Africa, represented her fatherland, Nigeria, in this year's beauty pageant. She withdrew from the 10 finalists of Miss South Africa in August after facing xenophobic attacks on social media. 3 months later, she became the first runner-up to Miss Denmark, who was crowned Miss Universe 2024. It is the first time a Danish contestant has won Miss Universe. Miss Mexico, Miss Thailand, and Miss Venezuela were respectively ranked 2nd, 3rd, and 4th runner-up. The 73rd edition was a proud moment for Africa. For the first time ever, 18 contestants from the continent competed for the crown. 125 countries participated. Congratulations to Nigeria and to Africa. That's the word now. For more updates on the stories we're monitoring, you can visit our website, www.tvcnews.tv. You can also follow us on our social media handles. We're on Facebook, Instagram, and on X at TVC News NG. On YouTube, we're live at TVC News Nigeria. Thanks for watching.